We've all been there. A quick trip to the supermarket to stock up on essentials turns into an hour-long shopping spree that leaves us wondering where it all went wrong. Like, seriously, Sarah? Did you actually need to get seasonal ice cube molds when you just needed eggs? Where is your self-control? But what if I told you that it really isn't your fault? Every time you walk into a grocery store, you're walking into a space that is designed to make you subconsciously spend more money. And I'm not just talking about advertising or labels in bright colors. The giants behind grocery store marketing would probably give the CIA a run for their money with things like consumer profiling and psychological manipulation. As you enter, you're immediately put into a mood that is created to play on human psychology and shopper behavior. They're not just selling groceries, they're selling experiences, emotions, and unnecessary indulgences. You're here for essentials: milk, eggs, perhaps some bread. But of course, these staples are in the far corners of the store, forcing you to navigate aisles overflowing with tempting treats and strategically placed impulse buys. This isn't an accident. The store knows the longer you walk, the more you're exposed to products you have no intention of buying. Each item you add to your cart becomes more than a product. You begin making an emotional bond to that product, making it harder to put back. So it stays in your cart, likely to make it to the final checkout, and if it does, the odds of you returning it are close to none. This isn't for comfort, it's to slow you down. The slower you walk, the more time you browse, the higher chances that you'll make additional purchases. In the bakery section, you're greeted by a smell so potent and comforting, it reminds you that you're hungry. It's in this section that the bakery becomes more than just a section of the store. It's a masterclass in sensory marketing. And that's because the store pumps the scent of fresh bread and pastries through the air to make you feel good and hungry and to buy something. When you do get to the checkout, decision fatigue has set in from wandering around the store, and you are the most vulnerable to make impulsive decisions at this point, and they capitalize on it by advertising overpriced snacks and magazines. So by the time you get out of the store, you're feeling bankrupt and your shopping cart is full of items that were not on your list. And it's easy to blame poor self-control, but the real influence comes from the food companies and the control they have over the store. Notice anything about the shelves? Expensive items are always placed at eye level. Meanwhile, budget-friendly options are on lower shelves, which is less visible and harder to reach. It's subtle, but successful at getting you to buy the price your choice. Big brands like Kellogg's and Nestle pay top dollar for prime shelf space, which includes eye level and end caps, successfully grabbing your attention and boosting their sales. This is known as slotting fees. It gives wealthy companies an unfair advantage over the healthier options, which are usually on lower shelves. The products on lower shelves are not only the items in the store that are at a disadvantage. Fruits and vegetables are often overlooked because they don't have the same advertising budget as big food companies do. So, people buy more snacks than produce. But one of the best ways to sell produce is by selling a lot of it. If there's only one apple left on the shelf, people are going to think that there's something wrong with it, and that's why it was left. Nobody's going to buy it. So, grocery stores will overbuy food to trick people into purchasing items. But inevitably, produce goes to waste and sits out all day like a glorified window dressing. And farmers can't compete with big food companies that pay for space. They have to overgrow their produce to ensure a good portion of their crops will look appealing enough for grocery stores to accept them. When a farmer has a surplus of weird-looking produce, they either have to throw it out or donate it. Either way, they lose a ton of money. Roughly a third of food produced in the world for human consumption gets lost or wasted every year. Sometimes grocery stores have an eerie feeling, and it's like someone is watching you, but no one's around. And sure, there's cameras in the store, but I'm not talking about that. It's almost like someone is wanting to read your mind. Well, that's exactly what grocery stores are trying to do, but they're sneaky about it. They call it a rewards program. See, every time you purchase something, it goes into a personal file that documents your shopping history. This includes the frequency of your visits, even your preference for organic or conventional products. So, what happens with all this data? It's collected and analyzed to create your own shopping identity, then implemented into target marketing so precise it can predict your needs before you do. The baby formula you purchase every 2 weeks? It triggers coupons for baby food and diapers tailored just for you, landing in your inbox right when you're beginning to run low. The manipulation doesn't end there. Within the store, mobile apps, Wi-Fi, and Bluetooth beacons work together to track you through aisles and send you special offers or coupons based on your location in the store. They're trying to influence and nudge you towards products strategically placed along the routes most traveled in the store. And if you ignore these coupons, then you probably won't be spending more money than you planned on. But it still influences you and helps stores collect data on your shopping patterns. All this tracking is in your personal data profile. It includes your preferences, habits, even how you respond to various marketing tactics. This is information that retailers and grocery stores will pay stupid amounts of money for because it enables them to fine-tune their marketing strategies to you. Every turn and choice you make is influenced by this bombardment of data that is so subtle you've probably never noticed it. Store layouts change based on the movements of the city it's in. If you've ever visited the same store of your hometown, but in a different city, you might have noticed that the layout is different. That's because each store tailors its layout to the preferences of the local population based on the data collected in that city. And their goal isn't to make finding items on your list easier. Their goal is to make products impossible to ignore by showcasing as many as possible to ultimately make more sales. I find myself wondering, am I really calling the shots with my grocery list? Or am I just a piece in a bigger game set up by invisible planners? There's a way to understand these hidden forces by becoming a more informed consumer and making empowered decisions. An overlooked way to save money at the grocery store is to learn how our brains are wired to make irrational decisions used by marketers to influence our behavior. There are no better resources than Audible, which has an extensive library on topics on how marketers use neuroscience and behavioral research to influence our decisions. From the book Brainfluence: 100 Ways to Persuade the People Around You to Subliminal: How Your Unconscious Mind Rules Your Behavior, there is a wealth of knowledge waiting to be discovered on Audible. If you sign up with the link in the description, you can get 1 month free and claim a lifetime access to 2 free audiobooks of your choosing. Check out Audible's library for yourself. If you're new here, we make video essay documentaries exposing industries that you have and haven't heard of. If there are specific industries you'd like us to shed light on, feel free to mention them in the comments. So if you're not already subscribed, click that red button below because you won't regret it if you want more exposed information.